Right, so the Rob Edwards debate is back. It's always a debate after a defeat, and the Wolves fans are fickle. I'm fickle, but what's really surprising me once again is how split and how 50-50 the Wolves fans' opinion is on Rob Edwards and his future, and whether he should be our manager still. After we win, of course, there's a lot of praise after the Villa win, after the Liverpool win, the draw away at Brentford. Humongous praise for Rob Edwards. Whenever we lose, which obviously has happened a lot, it's real big criticism. And even the people who praise him and want him here, I land in that category, can see where the other side is coming from. It's literally two sides. Whereas when he does well, the doubters still don't see where the positive people and the people who want him here are coming from. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to react to the comments off my match reaction to the 4-0 loss to West Ham. I'm just going to pull up a few comments and just show you how divided it is. Obviously, if you go on Twitter or X, it's very toxic. Go in my YouTube comments, it's very split, and I prefer reading YouTube comments, to be honest. It's more level-headed than the cesspit of X. But I'm going to get a few examples of how split it is, and then at the end, I'll give my updated opinion on whether I'm Rob in, Rob out, what I think of all these comments. So, first up, David says, Rob isn't the answer. And I think this was the most liked comment, or one of the most liked comments on my video. And Tony replies, just to show you how split it is, everyone needs to stop with this bullshit. Pep couldn't fix this shit with the squad as it is. Can't blame Rob for the crap he walked into. We've been much better under him despite Fosun's asset stripping. Fair enough. Like, I do agree a bit with Tony. He has had an extremely tough job with the squad he had at his disposal when he come in. There's been some terrible performances. West Ham, he's got to be up there as one of the worst. In his first 7 he lost. There were some really terrible ones in there, and I feel like this West Ham one, he's got the least excuse because he's had them for a while, and we had that massive 25-day break and he let them go on holiday and things like that. And to just make the one change and keep the tactics similar to Brentford and not really look like we prepared for West Ham as an individual team was very poor, especially when we've had that much time to study them and that much time on the training pitch with the players. So it's poor. I said it's on Rob. I said in my post-match it's on Rob. I can't defend him from the doubters and the people who want him out. I can't. I've got no leg to stand on to defend him after that performance against West Ham. Lad Sutton put, he's got to go. That's unacceptable. He's been lucky of late. You say we are giving him 100+ million to spend. I wouldn't give him a tenner. 14.28% win rate. Absolutely shocking. And then a reply to that from ADTWG. I agree, an unacceptable performance. However, do you think other managers would have gotten a better win rate with this squad? Edwards has inherited a squad thanks to VP, Tete and Jeff Shee. That is arguably championship standard at best. I personally don't think anyone would have dug us out of this hole this season. We're just too far gone as a team. Completely agree again with the reply, but I do get Sutty's point. It's a very big risk to trust Rob Edwards with the rebuild and giving him 100 million, which you assume would be how much will be needed to get us promoted. It's risky, isn't it? Because yes, he got Luton up on a shoestring budget. That was a bit of a miracle getting them up. He started off well with Middlesbrough, but he failed at Watford and things like that. And of course, when Luton got relegated, he didn't stay around for their double dip, but he left, quite late into the season. So has he got the history of being amazing in the transfer market? Probably not, but is that too important? Because you will have Matt Jackson, the recruitment team, who will be suggesting a lot of people to him as well. So there's probably more pressure on our recruitment team than there is actually Rob Edwards, because it's more about the bloody head coach these days than actually being a manager, isn't it? So I get it though, I get it, but I think I've got to stand by the point, which I agree with what a lot of people are saying who are kind of pro Rob Edwards. He did walk into a terrible squad. He just did, and you could have got the best manager in the world and he wouldn't have turned it round. He just wouldn't have. And I think I've said before, the best thing Rob's done is make the team morale high, and it seems like the atmosphere is good. In saying that, that second half against West Ham, the feeling that the players want to fight for the badge and the morale's high wasn't on show, was it? And, Andre bottling a 50-50, and he's been coming out with all these beautiful comments in the build-up about Rob and how much he loves Wolves, he wouldn't mind being here for 3 to 4 to 5 years. So it was just a strange second half, because what we've heard it wasn't seen on that pitch, and Rob's got to take some blame for that. He's got to take some blame for that, because what did he say to him at half time? And of course his substitutions as well is something that people keep pointing at, and they don't think he's tactically great. They don't, like, he's not a great tactician, although in times he has shown some good decisions in some of the wins, but more often than not he has shown bad decisions with tactics and substitutions and things like that. Another comment, couple of comments on the either end of the spectrum. Pete Curry says, Edwards, do the right thing, apologise and then get out of this club. As for the players, not fit to wear the shirt. Lambret Cream. Is that Lambret? Yeah, Lambret Cream. I love that. Can't sack Edwards. Who the hell do we get in next? We just simply have nothing left. Just dragging along, waiting for the championship. It doesn't matter who's in charge. It won't make a difference until next season. Again, with Peter's comment there, I think you've got to take into consideration a lot of people's comments online on my comments right after the game, raw in the moment, so emotions are high, and obviously people can just say things off the fly. He probably does mean that, I guess he does, but then Lamb makes a great point. Who do you get in? I've seen people saying Felipe Luis and people like that, and I've seen Thomas Frank mention Sean Dyche, which would be my personal choice if Rob Edwards was to leave. Of course, has done it, got the t-shirt of getting teams promoted, has his style of playing, no nonsense. I've seen him sticking up for Rob Edwards on TalkSport, actually, so I wouldn't mind him. But for me, look, it was very damaging to Rob Edwards's like his pedigree as like a manager. It was very damaging, that defeat against West Ham, particularly with the break we had and the preparation we had to try and beat West Ham and have a nice little run towards the end of this season. Of course, Nathan Shee said himself, Matt Jackson, that said themselves in that meeting I was in, we've got to have a good end to the season because they're fed up of having a bad end to the season, that going on to next season. So we've got to improve going forward. I'm more concerned than I was about Rob, I've got to admit. It was just so baffling to see that performance against a poor West Ham team. He had a bit of an excuse early on when we lost the first 7, as I've explained, because he had to get the players fit and put his stamp on the squad. Now we've had January, he's brought a couple of players in he wanted and got rid of a few who didn't want to be here and who he didn't want. It's very concerning to see a performance that bad. I was a bit concerned the Chelsea home performance, the 3-1 loss as well, a few weeks ago or a month or so ago, or a couple of months ago now, but yeah, again, I still think Rob Edwards will be here unless we lose every game 4-0 for the rest of the season. I think he has done enough, but I get the concerns, I really do, and it's fascinating to see how split the fan base is. There's usually a very loud minority with things like this, with managers and wanting managers sacked. So I remember even towards the end of Nuno, there was a bit of a small minority that wanted Nuno to go. So, you know, it happens even with the best of managers, but with Rob, I might be wrong and people may think back to other managers, but it's the most 50-50 split I've ever remembered of a manager in terms of whether what we want him to stay or want him to go. But I think he's done an okay job, but he's got many flaws, as I've said before. Don't like some of his interviews when he's laughing and joking after poor performances or defeats. But to be fair, he was pretty straight down the barrel with his interview after West Ham. He had a bit of a giggle at the end, but nothing like he has before, and he didn't make any excuses, really. He said it how it is. He didn't try and defend the players, and he just said they've got to be better. So there's no criticism of his post-match for me, but there's just criticism of his tactics and his substitutions against West Ham, and God knows what he said at half-time. So in summary, for me, I take on everyone's opinion, I really do, and look, nobody's right or wrong, are they? But I still think he will be manager next season. At this current time, with 6 games to go, I still want him to be. The pros of Rob Edwards are he loves the club, he's a Wolves lad. Despite starting off at Villa, we all know his history. He wants to be here. That's good, and he's got a bit of good experience in the Championship, albeit slightly limited, and he's shown he can get a promotion before. The negatives are still naive tactically, with substitutions and formations, but he's got Rui Pedro Silva to lean on to try and improve with that, and his other coaching staff. And of course, his lack of experience in transfer markets as well is a bit of a con for Edwards. But I think it's great to have a manager that wants to be here, who knows the local area well, and a lot of his family probably support Wolves. So I want him to do well, I really do. But if they turn round at the end of the season, Nathan Shee and that, and said, sorry, you were Jeff's man, like he was Jeff's last managerial appointment, wasn't he, before he was sacked, I want to go my own way. If Nathan said that and explained why, he just don't think it's been good enough, and he don't think, you know, he's got the talent or the know-how to get us out of the Championship with the budget we're going to give him, and they went with somebody else like a Sean Dyche or someone like that, I would also be like, okay. I wouldn't like throw my toys at the program. How can you do that to Rob? So maybe that says something too. So yeah, very interesting. It's split in debates, but please comment your thoughts down below and comment what you think of what I've spoke about in this video. Please like the video, please subscribe, and I'll catch you all for the build-up for the rest of the season and Leeds and any other news that comes out. Cheers, everyone.